question, but given the circumstances in the first quarter and what was on the line tonight, is that one of the better wins you've been involved in as a coach?
Yep, easily. Certainly one of the best wins I've been involved in at North Melbourne, and just reaffirms our confidence in the players that we've recruited to the club, reaffirms our confidence in the leaders that we've got, none more so than the bloke sitting next to me. Just an outstanding effort under an enormous amount of duress.
How big an effort was it, Brad? I mean, you seem to run the game out more strongly than Essendon. I mean, to be one rotation down and be able to do that, so it must be fantastic for you to be on that.
Yeah, I think that throughout the day we had obviously Hansen off for a portion, Cruz Garlick getting stitched up, same time Wells got injured, Adams dislocated his shoulder, and then Nathan Grimers, got a bit of a, he's had a bit of a hamstring tendonitis problem, so we were really worried that he was going to do a pretty significant hamstring tear if we kept him out there. So various stages we were challenged, and the boys stood up. So that's a fantastic base to build on. If you build for a playing group, when you get through games like that under significant duress, that holds you in good stead for the future. When you're really under the pump in the future, you can draw back on those type of wins. So huge step forward for the playing group.
Are you able to walk us through the injuries and what they sort of mean prognosis-wise going forward? Or?
Yeah, look, Adams looks like the most serious. So he's alternated his shoulder again. So it's the other one that he hurt a while back. So looks pretty significant this time. Not just a little subluxation. It looks a bit more significant than that. So, but very difficult for us to tell at the moment. But the fact that the medical staff got back pretty quickly and said he couldn't come back on, I knew it was more serious than the others. Wells has got what looks like a calf injury at the moment, but the severity we're unsure of this point. But again, with a player like him, who's so explosive as he is, even a minor calf, you've got to be really careful with. So we'll wait and see on that one. Grimer has had hamstring tendonitis for a while, so we're hoping that's just a little bit of inflammation around an old issue for him. Hansen appears fine, and the way he finished off the game was just super for us. And Garlett's just a innocuous thing that happens in a full contact body sport.
So I know it's not easy to say something like this for a coach, but given the fact that the next three, you've got 12 wins, you've got 3 weeks coming up, one against you, does this a major win like this give you the sort of luxury to sort of get the players through a bit more teams or finals, or do you not think about that?
No, we're not. We're not in that position. We haven't been in that position all year. For about the last 10 weeks, we've been playing games we've had to win. Unfortunately, we've won most of them, but our attitude is that we go out and we compete. We base our game around that. We did that again today, and that'll be no different next week. But it'll take at least, I think it'll take more than 12 wins to make the finals this year, and we're only on 12. So it'll be full steam ahead for us.
Well, I mean, you lost obviously 2 players in the first quarter, but 2 of you probably most important midfielders. How happy were you with some of the guys like Sam Gibson and the way they sort of stepped up, Cruz Garlick? You must get a great feeling about your depth now.
Yeah, I think and Jack Zeeble will come back in next week. So, and Lindsay Thomas will come back in as well. So there's some real depth there through the midfield, which we didn't have a couple of years ago. But it's a credit to our development team. We've always been really confident in Ben Cunnington. He's a very capable player, needed to get some runs on the board at senior level to really prove to himself that he was good enough. Internally, we've always known he's good enough. But he stepped up. Cruz Garlick was fantastic today. And, it's every press conference I'm saying we're really rapt to have Sam Gibson at our club. He's just a ripping character, a ripping person. And, the boys love playing with him. I thought he was just, super again today.
How about Boomer's effort in the third? Game up for grabs, comes in 3 goals, 3 minutes. You just must love having him in the team.
Oh, well, the cream just rises to the top, particularly under pressure. So, he's never ceases to amaze, does he? He's just, a real competitor. Loves to win, hates to lose, and just those efforts in the third quarter just typify what he's done for over 330 games now. So just fantastic effort, great leader. That you run out of superlatives when you're talking about Boomer.
Brad, you touched on Lockie Hansen. Was that quite an important day for him because he's always drawn critics because of his high draft pick and the fact that it's taken a little while to come along? And when he hit the ground there, he didn't even put his hands down because I presume he was out before he hit the ground. So for him to come back and do that,
Yeah.
that pretty important step for him in life.
We really called on Lockie pre-game that the effort and the competitiveness he needed to provide for us because we thought that was going to be critical. And he has come under a lot of criticism, some fair and some unfair. But I thought that some of his efforts today were fantastic to come back and play. Obviously, we were concerned around the issue of concussion. Normally, you don't ask the doctors twice. If they say he's not right to come back on, you just say, well, that's it, he can't come back on. But they said he could. And then for the first time, I questioned the doctor and said, are you sure? He said, yep. So back on he came and just really performed a critical role for us.
Brent, when at the start of your 3-goal burst, you're 2 points down, I think. How's it feeling out on the ground there? 'Cause I think it was about the 7-minute mark of the third quarter, and the game still seemed to be going a little bit flat. Were you sort of feeling that you're in a bit of trouble with the lack of rotation?
No, it certainly wasn't flat in the ground for us. A super competitive game, and you know what you're going to get when you play Essendon. So the message at half-time was just keep going out and doing what we're doing. We believe that we're a super fit team. That's the reason why we're drawing all the inspiration over pre-season. It's a long pre-season. We know that we're a super fit team, so we just want to continue doing what we're doing. I think they got us at clearances in the first quarter, so we rectified that in the second half, and that was probably the start of it. The boys in close winning the football, and you mentioned Sam Gibson and the work rate of him, Sammy Wright, Ryan Bassanak, all those young guys, probably between 21 years old and 27 are doing a super job for us. Their work rate is first class, and their ball winning abilities is also right up there.
At the end of a game like that, when you've been one rotation down, do you feel more time?
Oh, I won't lie to you. There's a couple of times you run to the bench and you don't get to come back on, but that's part of football. If I had it my way, I probably wouldn't want to come off anyway. Rest forward and play on the midfield. That's old school football, and that's probably the way I'd prefer it. But in today's game, you can't do that. You've got to rotate, and as it worked out, as I said, we knew that we'll fit enough to run out, and it didn't. I don't know. You don't really think about that sort of stuff when you're on. You look at the bench, you can't come off, you go again, and when you get a chance to come off, you get a 2 or 3 minute breather.
Brent, you talk about old school footy, throughout your career from when you started to now, but footy was a lot more. Footy has become a lot more high tech, a lot more statistical, a lot more tactical. But was today one of those days when you kind of draw on the emotions of, the inner strength of the team and look at the guys out and we've got 3 or 4 down and all that kind of thing? Was it more of an emotional result today?
Yeah, a little bit. I think when you speak to the group at half time or at 3/4 time, you look at each other in the eye. But with our group, you just know what you're going to get every week now. Going back 2 or 3 years ago, I wasn't too sure, but right now, there's a pretty still look in the eyes every time you look at somebody in the eye, and it's a fantastic feeling, I can tell you. It means that we're going forward, and that's pretty exciting.
All the other stuff notwithstanding, was it also impressive that you're able to get a win without Drew contributing on the scoreboard? I mean, he was fantastic around the ground, but he scored so many goals in recent weeks and it didn't get on the
But who picked him up?
best.
Fletch is a good player, but what is 3 key forwards enables you to do things like that. So Drew is one of the most team-oriented players that I've seen, and he played a critical role for us today. And Hansen and Tarrant got on the scoreboard. So said it 2 weeks ago, I said it last week, I'll say it again, we judge them as a unit, and the unit was very good again tonight.
Were you surprised, given that, Brad, that Essendon dropped hookers, so that effectively had, I suppose, Hardingham playing on Tarrant, their size?
I think it's a toss of the coin. And in round one, we played McMahon on Cramery, so that was a risk. So sometimes with the balance of your side, you can't have everything. Every week in match committee, you sweat over the 23rd man because usually it's a balancing act. So it's not surprising that they did that.
Just with Lee Adams' shoulder, Brad, just to make sure I've got it right. was the one that with the Bulldogs. He rested him that week with that left shoulder. That was the one you said about.
Yeah, don't quote me on any of this because I'm as confused as you are at the moment. He hurts one shoulder, he hurts the other. I say, which one is it? They say it's the one he hurt last time. I said, well, which time's that? You know, the time. So both are pretty sore, but it's his left shoulder. So yeah, it's a bit more significant than the last couple.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.